When the Taiwanese Navy's Ban Chao frigate suddenly locked its fire control radar onto the PLA Navy's Type 052D destroyer Urumqi off the coast of Pingtung, did this signal that the military standoff across the strait had escalated from routine patrols to the brink of actual combat? Or was it merely a reckless gamble by the Taiwanese military, exposed by its confrontation with overwhelming superiority, revealing the psychological fragility of its strategy of resisting unification through force? Today we delve into this heart-stopping maritime standoff, examining how the PLA responded with thunderous countermeasures to defend sovereignty while dealing a heavy blow to the Taiwanese military's morale. The incident occurred on December the 29th during the Eastern Theater Command's full-scale Justice Mission 2025 military exercises involving Taiwan, covering the Taiwan Strait and 5 major zones: northern, southwestern, southeastern, and eastern Taiwan. The drills focused on maritime and aerial combat readiness patrols, seizing integrated control, and blockading key ports and areas. Its scale and intensity were unprecedented in recent years. A core objective was testing the PLA's integrated combat capabilities in complex electromagnetic environments, particularly its actual control over critical sea lanes around Taiwan. Meanwhile, in the waters south of Pingtung, an unexpected yet highly symbolic standoff unfolded quietly. The PLA's Urumqi-class destroyer, hull number 118, a Type 052D guided missile destroyer with a full displacement of approximately 7,000 tons, was conducting combat readiness patrols, advancing directly into the waters southwest of Taiwan Island. Simultaneously, the Taiwanese military mobilized in response, dispatching the 4,000-ton Chenggong-class frigate Ban Chao, hull number 1108, to attempt surveillance and tracking of the PLA vessel. As the backbone of the Chinese Navy's air defense fleet, the Type 052D destroyer is equipped with advanced phased array radar systems and vertical launchers, possessing multi-role capabilities including area air defense, anti-ship, and anti-submarine warfare. Its overall combat performance ranks among the top globally for vessels of its class. In contrast, the Taiwanese military's Chenggong-class frigates are essentially reverse-engineered versions of the U.S. Perry-class frigates. Despite undergoing certain modernization upgrades, their overall design is outdated, with radar, electronic warfare, and weapons systems lagging behind contemporary standards. In this specific incident, the frigate Ban Chao activated its SPG-60 fire control radar during the close-range standoff to direct its 76mm gun and Standard 1 air defense missiles. This action carries significant military provocation. Activating fire control radar signifies completed target acquisition and readiness to engage, akin to pressing a loaded gun against an adversary's temple. To any professionally trained military personnel, this constitutes a near-combat hostile act, highly prone to miscalculation and escalation. However, the Urumqi was no ordinary vessel. Its radar warning receiver immediately detected the X-band single-pulse Doppler or F signal emitted by the Taiwanese ship's fire control radar, and swiftly initiated multi-layered countermeasures. First, through public maritime channels, PLA crew members issued 3 clear and resolute radio warnings, demanding the Ban Chao cease its dangerous actions immediately or face all consequences. This combined diplomatic and military communication approach demonstrated China's restraint while clearly delineating red lines. Second, the Urumqi activated its RJZ-726 electronic warfare system, launching intense jamming and suppression against the Taiwanese vessel's radar signals. Designed for modern naval warfare, this system detects, analyzes, and interferes with enemy radar and communication frequencies, effectively degrading their target acquisition and attack capabilities. In the electronic warfare contest, the PLA's advantage became immediately apparent. The Taiwanese warship's radar screens likely instantly filled with massive amounts of noise or false targets, crippling its fire control systems. More critically, the LJP-349 fire control radar aboard the Urumqi frigate simultaneously locked onto the Ban Chao frigate. This radar boasts exceptional performance, capable of precisely tracking multiple targets and providing guidance for naval guns and missiles. Upon completing the lock, the 130mm single-barrel main gun at the bow immediately adjusted its elevation and entered standby mode, while the Type 730 close-in weapon systems flanking the bridge entered alert status, poised to intercept any incoming missiles or shells. Tactically, this constituted a complete detection jamming lock counterattack chain, demonstrating the maturity of the Type 052D destroyer's automation and information systems. Simultaneously, the ship's QC-280 gas turbine engines roared at full throttle, propelling the colossal vessel toward the Ban Chao at high speed to establish a standoff position. Faced with the PLA's resolute countermeasures, the Taiwanese Ban Chao frigate found itself in a precarious predicament. Its fire control radar struggled to maintain effective lock on amid jamming, while its own position remained firmly locked by enemy radar, leaving it vulnerable to imminent attack. In terms of displacement, the 7,000-ton Type 052D outmatched the 4,000-ton frigate, boasting a more robust hull. Regarding firepower, its 130mm main gun far surpassed the frigate's 76mm naval gun. The Urumqi also possessed vertically launched anti-aircraft and anti-ship missiles, significantly outperforming the Success-class frigate's Standard 1 and Xiangfeng series missiles. Not to mention the generational gap in electronic warfare capabilities, the PLA's systems clearly overpowered the Rocken's outdated equipment. Post-incident analysis indicates the Rocken commander, after assessing the situation, ultimately chose to shut down fire control radars and withdraw from the confrontation zone. While this decision averted conflict, it exposed the Rocken's hesitation and retreat under combat pressure. From a military psychology perspective, this pattern of provocation followed by retreat severely undermined the morale of the crew and the entire Taiwanese military, confirming the lack of confidence in their strategy of resisting unification through force. Historically, similar maritime standoffs in the Taiwan Strait are not unprecedented. What makes this incident unique is its occurrence against the backdrop of the PLA's systematic and routine patrols around Taiwan, coupled with a more pronounced gap in equipment capabilities between the two sides. Despite upgrades, the Taiwanese Navy's successful class frigates appear ill-equipped to confront new generation destroyers like the Type 052D. This reflects a deeper predicament in Taiwan's defense posture. Reliance on outdated equipment and external support makes it difficult to counter mainland China's rapid military technological advancements. In this incident, the PLA's superiority extended beyond hardware to soft power capabilities, command, communications, and reconnaissance. The Eastern Theater Command's coordinated exercises, inter-service cooperation, and real-time intelligence support enabled the Urumqi to handle the sudden provocation with composure. In contrast, the Rocken's actions appeared isolated and reactive, lacking systemic backing, ultimately ending in a hasty retreat. The blow to Rock's morale represents another critical impact of this standoff. Morale serves as a force multiplier for combat effectiveness. Despite recent efforts to enhance readiness, the Rock's psychological vulnerability was laid bare when confronted with the PLA's overwhelming superiority. The hasty activation and deactivation of radar on the Ban Chao warship may have been intended as a probing provocation, but it backfired. Rather than demonstrating defensive resolve, it highlighted the immense risks of actual combat to the crew. Over time, this perception of retreating in the face of strength will erode the Taiwanese military's training resolve and combat confidence. On the other hand, through this operation, the PLA has clearly conveyed to the outside world its firm stance on safeguarding national sovereignty and territorial integrity. There is no room for compromise on core interests, and any provocation will be met with decisive countermeasures. The release of this strategic signal holds profound significance for deterring pro-independence forces in Taiwan and external interventionist powers. In short, while the standoff off Pingtung's coast has concluded, its reverberations will continue to reverberate. The 052D destroyer's forceful maneuver compelling the Chenggong-class vessel to alter course represents not merely a tactical victory but a strategic declaration. The PLA possesses both the resolve and capability to defend national unity. Meanwhile, the Taiwanese military's morale suffered a severe blow during this incident, further exposing the futility of attempting to resist unification through military means. In the turbulent waters of the Taiwan Strait, strength remains the ultimate language, and the tide of history will inevitably flow toward the shore of peaceful reunification.